Welcome everybody to 1 hour of miniature goodness. And what's that? There's my box in the way. There you go. Okie dokie. So today we are having a look at the Baba Yaga's hut, and I'm going to do some custom basing with some clay. This is the new release. Thank you for subscribing, Michelle. This is the new release. I have already painted one of these before, which was from the actual Bones Kickstarter, but this is their official release for the box set for retail. It comes in an absolutely beautiful box, as you can see. Ouch. We got custom paintwork on there by Michael Proctor, and sculpted by Chris Lewis, of course. And it's a beautiful box if you're into boxes. Lots of collectors do like their boxes. But it's got some lovely artwork on there. Michael Proctor, of course, is their studio painter, and he is an absolute legend in the painting scene for sure. Let me say hello to people in chat so far. We've got Scorpler, Ties in chat, Bulgy, Muses Touch, Michelle, of course. I hope you're all doing fantastic. I take it you can all hear everything I'm saying, okay? Yes. Okay, I'm not going to say what I was thinking, but there you go. Hello, Dover Cook. Okay, so what do we get in the box? Now, this is, like I said, this is the new edition. It's the same as on the Kickstarter. The only difference really being is the legs now come separate. And I'm pleasantly surprised because the legs that do come, they seem a lot more sturdier, a lot stronger. With my version of the Bones Kickstarter version, the house, the legs didn't seem very strong for the supports because the house is very, very heavy. But these seem a lot stronger. My ones were really flexible, so after a while the actual house started tilting forward. So I'm hoping these will be a bit better. But my aim today is not to use the legs. You also get the little hanging man that goes at the bottom here. That just goes and pins into the bottom of the house, like so. And of course you get the Baba Yaga. That comes in the miniature. Let me get some out of the way. Can have a closer look at these little goodies. There we are. So the house seems to be almost solid plastic. It's very, very heavy. It's very nicely sculpted. I would have preferred if it was hollow. If this roof came off, then to me it would have been a perfect miniature. But it's a solid one piece, so really it's a scenery item rather than you can play your games like D&D inside the house. But it would have been fantastic if the roof did come off to have a inside to this house. Hello, Easy Fish. How are you? And of course, with the little legs, now that they're separate, you can actually add the legs at the bottom. Now, I'm not gluing these legs on or anything. What I'm planning on doing is having the base separate, but it should stand up like this so far. I mean, it's definitely a nice looking miniature for sure. But my plan is to have a base, and the house is on the base, and I want like a swampy type base. And I'm not going to glue the actual house to the base, but I'm going to build the base around the house so I can remove the house for if it's going to be used in game, and then I can put the legs on. And of course we've got the little Baba Yaga. Now Baba Yaga is from the Russian folk stories, also from the 1700s, I think the first Baba Yaga folk stories came out. Baba Yaga was also known as the Three Sisters. It could have been Three Sisters, and Baba Yaga, or the Baba, means also witch, sorcerer in Russian. because it's a Russian folk tale, of course. It's nice to see you on here, Mr. Fish. Now, this is the little base I'm going to be using today. I think it's I think this is an 8x8 inch base. It's a 6mm thick MDF board. Now, I always use 6mm boards for every single diorama base I'm going to make, and the reason for that is I've tried the 3mm, and I do sometimes get a bit of warping, but with the 6mm bases, if you get the MDF like this one, you won't get any warping at all. But so far I've had no warping, so I always like to use a 6mm. Hello, Mighty Lancer Games. I've only just started, so no worries. Right, so plan is base on here. Now, I am going to be using white air hardening clay, and the idea is to have the clay, to have the house on a platform, and then I'll build up the rocks around it, and I'll have little extra pieces of clay which I'll sculpt, and what we're trying to do is have a kind of like a swampy feel. So what will happen is once that clay is dry, I shall add water effects all around the base, so it looks like the house is in like a little swamp and stuff like that. Now, I've got these little blue gloves today because it gets quite messy, so I'll be putting these little gloves on for my clay work today. But most of the show today will be me just sculpting the clay, and I'll probably do another show showing you how to paint the whole of the miniature. It's a very simple paint. Now, I have already done a YouTube video on how I painted Baba Yaga's house, but today we're working on a custom base. So let's get some clay out. I'll put my little gloves on. Now, all I need for today, we've got some water here, and we've got a couple of little sticks for crafting. Hi, Renegade Shank. It's nice to see Renegade Shank on early as well. Oh, and Tim's in chat as well. That's really nice. Don't often see Tim. All the goblins. Yes, all the goblins. Now I'm just taking a big chunk of this white clay out of my bag. This is just from Craft World clay, and it's a huge great big tub. I'll quickly show you the tub. There we go, big tub of clay. There we are. This costs about £14 for like 5 kilos, I think it is. 5 kilos, which works out very cheaply, and it's great for your work. There we go. Yes, the legs are what it is, Tim. I'm going to build up the base, and I'm going to have it so I can have the base and use it as an ordinary house. And then because I'm not going to glue the house to the base, what I can do is, if I want to use games, I can stick the legs on. Now, we couldn't do that with the last one because the legs were already stuck to the house, but with this one we can actually use it as an old house as well as Baba Yaga's house, so it's going to have two uses. And Ty's just explained it to you. What I've noticed as well, Tim, is both you and I painted the old version of the house. What I've noticed with the new one, the legs. Thank you for subscribing, Estrogene. What I've found with the new legs is that they are a lot more stronger. Oh, thank you, Michelle, for gifting subs. So compared to the old Bones, the Kickstarter version that we had to paint, the legs on these ones seem to be a lot firmer. It's very kind of you, Michelle. Oh, lovely goblins, all of you. Now, I'm wearing these gloves while I am doing the clay work because I normally would do my clay work out of in the kitchen, where I can wash my hands. Because I'm doing it on stream, I can't really wash my hands, so I'm just using these gloves to stop making too much of a mess. Hi, Mokai. So clay work is very simple with this air drying clay. We're just slowly building up a base, and of course once this dries it comes away from the base, and then what we do, we PVA glue the actual clay back onto the base. Go over there. You're way too kind, Michelle. Way too kind. Now, if you've never tried using air drying clay for your miniatures, it's highly recommended. It's a great price. The only thing with air drying clay is if you drop your miniature, you've got a fair good old chance that the clay will shatter. So if you are a commission painter, it can be quite difficult if you want to post your miniature using a clay base. I would highly recommend using Fimo Air. Fimo Air clay is another air drying clay, but that dries very, very strong, and you can actually fling that across the room and it's not going to break. It's a very, very strong air drying type of clay. You can also cook that clay in the microwave, and it's not too expensive. I am slowly moving on to Fimo Air for all my miniatures that I'm posting to different places because it is much safer. Yes, it would be lovely to see you more, Tim. Now, if anybody doesn't know, Tim in chat, Fanrivel Galandol, sorry if I said that wrong, Tim. He actually is working in all these places, and he's one of the fantastic people that are doing all the support with the viruses and working with all the nasty germs and stuff. He's the guy who looks after us all and gives us all the correct medicines. So yeah, he's always working all the time. He is a highly loved and respected person in the Goblin Army. And he's also a very good miniature painter. And yeah, he gets us to all buy Kickstarters that we don't need. Oh, look at this Kickstarter! Look at this one! Look at this one! Oh, I got a 3D resin printer now. Look at this Kickstarter! Look at this Kickstarter! Yeah. What I'm doing, I'm just using the house as a reference of where I need to put my clay. And as you can see, I mean, anybody can do what I'm doing. But it's just a fantastic way of adding to your base and making it your own. It's like I say to everybody, when you are painting the miniature, it's your work. But when you actually make a base, excuse me, if you make a base for any miniature, then it becomes a part of you, because you have made that part of the miniature. So you've made it your own, as they say. So we're just adding this clay, and as you can see, it's such a simple thing to do, but it makes such a difference once it's all dried, painted and sculpted. You can make absolutely awesome effects to all your miniatures and your bases. I mean, I'm just adding basic blobs of clay, and I'm going to start sculpting them in a minute just to give them a bit of form and shape. But it doesn't take much to make yourself a little base, and it will all start working for you, and it'll look fantastic. Just kind of keeping it nice and level. Because what it is, I want to be able to have the hut on top of this piece of clay here, and I'm going to add some supports to each side of the hut, so when the base is done, I should be able to just remove the hut if I want to in a game and add the legs. So what we're working on is just having it so the hut will be able to be placed there, and this will be our little base for our hut, and then of course we can take it on or off whenever we please. Yes, basing is awesome fun. Kickstarters for me this year, I haven't backed one Kickstarter yet. I think this time last year, I was probably into my third Kickstarter. This year, it's going to be a bit more difficult to actually afford all the Kickstarters that I want. I'm not sure what's going to happen this year. I'll try and support certain people I know, like Andrew Kaywood, but I cannot see me backing much this year unless it's something really that takes my fancy, you know. Tim is just as bad as me. I'm sure he backed I think I backed 20 odd Kickstarters last year, and Tim was the same, I think. Those Kickstarters are addictive. You start backing a Kickstarter, before you know it, you got 3 or 4, then 5, another one starts up, another one. Before you know it, you've got Kickstarters. I got boxes. I've actually got boxes of Kickstarters in my cupboards, and I haven't even opened them, you know. I mean, that's how bad it is. I got boxes of miniatures from different places, and I haven't even started to you know, even look inside the boxes. And that is the trouble with Kickstarters. They are so tempting, and you buy them. I mean, apart from your Reaper bones. I mean, a Reaper bones is like part of your blood and soul. If you don't back a Reaper bones Kickstarter, then you know, then you're not living, are you? So you're not part of the Goblin Army if you don't back a bones Kickstarter. Ah, yeah, right. Yeah, I just reading there. Muse's Touch. Yeah, yeah, Bones 6. You know. I yeah. I didn't. When I meant Kickstarter, I didn't include Bones in that. Bones. Reaper Bones doesn't get included. That's not Kickstarter. That's part of my business. Yes, the Reaper Bones is part of my business, so it's not counted. It's not counted as a Kickstarter. It's counted as it's counted as all the pleasure. Right, with the clay, I'm just using my little thingy there, and I'm just using this water, and I'm putting my little thingy in there. And what we're doing is we just smooth off all the clay areas that we want to kind of sculpt into a nice little shape. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting that nice bit of clay just flattened off, just getting a nice smooth finish, so our Baba Yaga's hut will just sit on there nice and easily when it's all dry. And it also gets rid of any fingerprint marks as well, although you're not going to get many fingerprint marks if you're wearing these blue gloves, which aren't very comfortable, by the way. I can feel my hands getting all sticky inside them. Okay then. Now what we're trying to do is go for a swampy effect. So I'm going to add a few more here. If you can see the base. Now the idea is all these areas where the wood is now, these will all be painted, and then what will happen to those is I will fill them in with resin, just about 1 to 2 millimeters of liquid resin, and I'll pour those around the base, which will look fantastic. We got a raid! Somebody's come to raid me! Thank you for following. Raids are quite difficult for me because I try to keep on doing what I'm doing, and of course, you know, there's loads of people just turned up. It's like, ah! Welcome everybody that's just turned up. I am working on a base for Baba Yaga's hut from Reapermini, sculpted by Chris Lewis, and all I'm doing is adding some air drying clay to an MDF board. And what I'm doing is just making a nice flat surface for the hut to go on top, and we're trying to just make a nice little swamp effect to go around the base. Very simple, very basic. I'm just smoothing off the clay at the minute. I'm going to start doing a little bit of sculpting to just give it some highlights and some swampy effects to the rest of the base. Thank you for following, Pink Chaos. I'll have to check out your channel and make sure I follow you back. It's a fantastic miniature. It's you can get it straight from the Reaper site now. It's on retail, and of course you can have it with or without the legs now, which is a bonus. When with the Kickstarter version, the legs were attached, but now you can actually make it into a nice little diorama, and then you can take it away and attach your legs for any games. So to me, that is 100% improvement, because I actually prefer the hut without the legs. Thank you for following, Traitor Legions. Now I've got a mantic tree, and again, if Tim's still in chat, he knows all about all the mantic terrain. He is the terrain man for Mantic. Now see this little tree here, you can buy these from Mantic Games, and I'm going to have this one stuck on this part of the base here, and we're going to work our way around that one. Let me see if I can pull this out a little bit. So that will be I'm going to mould that into that piece of the clay there. We're just going to push that in just to get a base. We'll get a, there we are, so that'll just go there. Then of course our hut will be on top of the clay here, and then as you can see already, it's starting to build up, and once you've added the water and the rest of the items, it will look absolutely fantastic. But it's a very simple way of doing bases. I mean, lots and lots of you are so scared of doing the bases and having a little experiment, but as you can see, all I've done is I've just plonked the clay on, and I'm just working the clay with water, just to give a bit of form to the clay. And all you need is to just keep that clay wet, and then we can start adding ridges to the clay, and building an edge going around the base with the clay. And all we're doing is add water, and we pull up, and each time we do this it makes a little ridge, and it's like an edge to the swamp, and our water level will go around the edge. So what we're doing is making little rocks now, and we're just giving edges to the rocks, just by using that water. And then we smooth it over, and we've got an instant rock just by doing that. And we do the same on all the parts of the clay. And of course, once this is all painted up, it all absolutely looks fantastic. So we can go in a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So what we're doing is we're just adding an edge to these pieces of clay, and that gives us like a rock formation, like so. And then we push in with the clay using the water, and that turns it into a rock. And what we do, we just leave a slight angle on the top of the clay, and that gives us like the rock outcrop. It may not look much at the minute, but once it's painted you'll see it instantly. What we're doing is we're making these into to stand out a little bit more by pushing in the clay, and then just giving an edge to the rocks. And then of course we're smoothing them out with the water. Making bases is almost the best part of being in the hobby. I love painting my miniatures, but I get so much enjoyment working with clay and making bases and making little sculptures, little rocks and things. It just really makes it your own. And it's very, very simple. I mean, as you can see, all I'm doing is I've got one little tool here, water and my clay. I'm just sculpting all around. I'll just work on a split so I can show you again how we do the rocks. Now, to make the rocks, all we need to do is give an edge to the rocks. So what we do is we go across the rock with our water, just straighten it out a little bit, going up with our tool, and then at the top of it we just edge it off at the top, and then we work our way around and we just make it into a nice little stone, and this will be going into our swamp. Here. Yes, I totally agree, Tim. It's so much fun when you can make your own things. Like I say, I am changing to Fimo Air for sculpting like today. I do love using air drying clay, but if you are posting your miniatures, I would recommend a stronger clay like Fimo Air, because again, if you drop your miniature with Fimo Air, you've got less chance of it breaking. If you drop this on the floor, once it's set, it will shatter into 1,000 pieces and break your heart. So you do have to think, if you are a commission painter or you're taking your miniatures to your friends for gaming. Like I say, once this has dried, it does come away from the MDF board, and what we do then is we just go back and we stick it back onto the board with PVA glue. PVA glue is fantastic for sticking the clay. Yeah, you take care of yourself, Tim, and you're doing a fantastic job. You're doing a fantastic job. Loads of love to you, pal. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be working with all the virus things. What Tim is doing is something that he's like the heroes, the unsung heroes, as they call them, I should say. There's some jobs that really are difficult in this day and age at the minute with the COVID virus, and Tim's got one of them. Very, very difficult. So I don't know if you can see this is coming on now. I take it you can all see what I'm doing to these rocks, yeah? I don't want you all to be, it looks like I'm not doing anything. So Michelle, you've been struggling with your painting, have you? Like I say, I am going to be doing a goblin paint every Friday on the Discord. So if you do get stuck and you want some advice, we'll be on the Discord. We'll be on the Discord Paint Club to have a chat if you want any help with your painting. Yeah, well, you are an artist. You are an artist. Now, if anybody doesn't know, I love giving everybody shout outs. Now, Michelle is my, I suppose I could call you, is it graphic design? Maybe, is that the correct word? If you see my Goblin King in the left hand side at the bottom of my main picture there, you can see the Goblin King, and it's me holding a little paintbrush, painting a little badge there. Now, fantasy artist, okay then. That's Michelle's handiwork. Michelle actually did that for me, and I've made them into stickers and all sorts of things. Let me see if I can get this sticker off you. This is the little sticker. Michelle actually did this for me. It's absolutely beautiful. I use it for everything now. I use it for everything. It's my avatar, and Michelle made that for me, and I forever grateful, because it's absolutely beautiful, 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 beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. and that's Michelle. And this is another thing that's strange as well about miniature artists and artists that paint. You can either do one or the other really well. I can draw. I did a BA honours degree in life studies drawing naked people. But even then, I wasn't fantastic at drawing. I mean, I'm not the super best at painting miniatures, but I'm better at painting miniatures than I am at drawing. So it's surprising. You'd think being an artist you'd be good at both things, but it's again a different skill. Yeah, well, life studies is naked, isn't it? Yeah. I remember when I was telling my dad that I was doing the BA in the life studies, and I was quite a young man when I was doing that in Swansea University, and I remember my dad saying, "Oh, you're just going there for the naked chicks." I was like, "No." Oh, sorry, knocked my camera there. Okay, we're coming on nicely with this. Let me just get a... I can't put this on top now because it's wet, but you can see where this is going. That's going to be there. Okay, we're nearly there. I'm just trying to make it all nice and neat. Just by adding that water to the clay, that's how we do that. We got ourselves a nice little rock formation starting on this side. I'm just going to make these a little bit more edged. There we go. Okay, now like I say, we're going to have a tree on this one here, so we're just going to put this in for size. So that's going to be just there. Now these trees were from Mantic Games in the UK. Okay, let's put you there. I'm actually gonna put this on there now, so we can start working our way around it. Because what will happen is once it's dry, it will come away anyway, and it will also give you all an idea what's going on with the base. Zoom out a little bit for you. There we are. Okay, so this is how it's coming on so far. Now what's going to happen is once this is all dry, of course we're going to have water going around all the base area. So let's add some more clay and start building it up a little bit more. Thank you, Casper Kenobi. How are you? Hope you're well. Now when you add clay on top of clay, it's a very simple thing to do. You just add water. We're just going to add a little stone to this part here. And what you do is you crisscross the clay on both pieces that you're going to add. So we've got this piece of clay here. Again, you're going to add some water to the bottom of the clay. And all I'm going to do is I am scoring the bottom of the clay. And then I'm going to stick that on top of the clay that I've just put the water on. and that's all you do, and that will stick and it won't go anywhere. And then all we do is we can start sculpting that little bit of clay, again adding that water and working our way around and shaping it into a nice little rock. What I've got here in my hand, I've just got an old tea towel. So what's happening is I'm going into the water, adding the water, and once I've taken away a bit of the clay because it gets very wet, I'm using the tea towel just to take off the excess. Like I say, you don't need any particular brand for your clay. I just got this for this 5 kilo box of clay, and I think it was £14 from Craft World. There's no particular make. As long as it's air drying clay, you don't have to put it in the oven. So it is fantastic for sculpting. But like I say, if you are serious about like commission work or posting to a friend, or you're taking your miniatures to a gaming shop for gaming, I would highly recommend using Fimo Air, because you can actually cook that in a microwave. It is air hardening, but it is very, very strong. It's much stronger than clay. And works really well for all types of sculpting. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is worth the extra pennies if you can afford it. Just going to add a little rock to the back here. Now the reason why I'm adding these other rocks is because this house is going to be, you're going to be able to remove the house and add the legs. So having these little rocks in each part of the house. So we'll have one here, we're going to have one here, we'll have one rock just here, and maybe a little rock just there. That'll be a guideline as well for where you need to put the house down once the base is dry, so you'll know exactly where you're gonna put the base. It's just a marker guideline, but it looks fantastic once it's dry as well. So once again, I've just added a blob of clay there. I've added some water to the top, and I'm just scoring the top of the clay there. Just scoring the top of the clay, and we're going to stick that to the clay here. And of course that's stuck lovely now because it's wet. And then we can re-sculpt the clay and make it nice and smooth. Just add a little bit of edging to the clay. That gives us a nice little form for our rock. That's just a nice way to make a nice little outcrop of rocks going around the house. And we'll do the same on the front of the house. We just add a little piece of clay. No, I haven't. No, Michelle, I haven't tried any textures. No. I might have done years ago. Probably did years and years and years ago. I did sculpture in college as well, and we did all sorts of stuff. But we're talking a long time ago. I can't remember. I can't remember. Let's take you off a second. So I can get you in there. I think what I'll do is, once I've finished this diorama, this will be my diorama entry for the Reaper challenge, the Reaper Miniatures challenge. I think this will be a nice little diorama to enter once it's finished. I should get it done by the end of the month. Yeah. There we are. So as you can see, all the rocks taking shape and looking fantastic going around this building now. I'm very, very happy so far. It's very simple, but as you can see, it gives a really nice effect to what's going on. All we're doing is edging the clay, so we're forming rocks in the clay, and you can do all sorts. Now, because this is a swamp, what my other idea is, let's move this out of the way now, because I'll do a bit more on that later. I don't know what time it is. How are we doing for time? Wow. It's nearly an hour. It's gone. Okay. Okay. Remember to always put your clay back in an airtight container as soon as possible. It doesn't last forever. Now, the rest. What else I wanted to do is I'm just gonna quickly work on this one, and then I'll show you what else I was gonna do, just to give you some ideas of what you can do with minimal effort. So my tree goes on there. Now, this is supposed to be like a swampy base, so I got some of this balsa wood. I just need to get my little knife. Now, what my idea is for this base is, once this is all dry, I want to add like planks going over each of these rocks here, just short little planks. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to give you an idea of what we can do. Just cutting off these woods. We just want them rough because they're just supposed to be old planks. So we've got some balsa wood there, and what we can do is we can have the planks just going off on angles, going across the across the swamp area. You know, like it's just walking across this, and then the water going underneath all these planks. Now, if you've watched some of my streams before, to make a plank look more real, what we do is we scar the plank with little indentations. We just go along the balsa wood because it's soft, and we can just go straight down, keep on going down, and what that does, it makes it a nice bark effect, and once you've painted it and dry brushed, it really shows up really well on the wood. It makes it look more like wood. Simple as that. Jiggly. Okay, so that's going on there like so. Now I'm not going to stick that on there. What I'm trying to do is just give you ideas on what you can do with your houses and your bases. So what we can do is we can actually cut off another one, and if we wanted, we could have one going onto this plank as well. So we've got like a little plank walkway going around the swamp, and of course we can have some reeds coming up as well, and then we'll have our water excuse me, and I think that will look fantastic as a diorama for our Baba Yaga's hut. And of course we'll have Baba Yaga up here. I might actually, because it comes with this little guy in the cage as well, what I might actually do is I might have him glued onto this tree here. So I don't know if you can see that. So what I could do is this guy can be stuck on this tree hanging, and then we'll have all the swampy area going around the base, and I think that'll look really well. Yeah, I've got I'll probably use a gloss varnish to begin with. Thank you, Kenobi. But I have got Vallejo. Let me show you. We got this. This is what I'll use for my water effects. This is water texture effects. Now, what you can do with this is I'll be painting all the base very, very dark green. I might actually do. I'll probably do a YouTube video showing you how I paint this and do the rest of this miniature. Like I say, I have already done a painting video on the house, but if you want me to, I'll be more than happy to make a YouTube video on how I finish off the base, if you'd like that. Okay, that's a yes then. Yes please, Mikey. But yes, I'll do that for you, Michelle, not a problem. This will take, because it's air drying clay, it will take quite a few days to dry. Let me just check the time. And we're doing, what time is that? We're at 8 minutes. But that's about. Yeah, I'll make a video. I'll make a video for that then. No, not a problem at all. But what I was thinking, like I say, if I could have this little guy hanging from the tree there, that would look nice. Okay, so we've got 8 minutes left. So what I'll do is I'll carry on sculpting the rocks here. Look at my little ring back. Now, have you got any questions before I say goodnight to everybody? If you, by the way, if you can buy all these miniatures, you can buy them all directly from Reaper Miniatures, of course. There is a link below the videos. But you can also buy all these miniatures from Mighty Lancer Games in the UK as well. If you are a patron of mine, you get 10% off every single item you buy from Mighty Lancer Games. So that is well worth it if you live in the UK. Yeah, I think I'll definitely keep these little boards here. I think those boards work well. I will trim them up. What I might do as well is, see with these little bits of wood, I might make some little, like a little sign. A little sign, maybe. And maybe a little handrail. A little handrail going across the little bridges there. But, of course, these will all have little grass tufts going all around the base and around the sides. But, like I say, I will show you all that in the YouTube video. So there we are. That's about all I can show you on this today. Now, have you got any questions? Because I am going to say goodnight to everybody. I've really had a fantastic time. I absolutely love working with clay. A skull top face. Yes, some skulls would look fantastic. Yes, skulls would be fantastic. So, questions? Any questions? Before I say goodnight, be quick. Everybody just says goodnight. I say questions, everyone's like goodnight. Okay, guys, love to every single one of you. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you for the raid, and thank you everybody that was in the raid that stayed, because that is very, very nice of you. I hope everybody had a fantastic time. I will be back next Tuesday, and it'll either be Star Wars Legion, it'll either be Lord of the Rings, it'll be WizKids, Mantic Games. It might be Mantic Games because I have got a parcel coming from them soon, but we'll see. Okay, love to everybody. Good night, and thank you so much, and take care out there. Okay.